Well, with the rapid introduction and adoption of generative AI tools such as ChatGPT, the question has been raised about whether generative AI tools will eventually replace human jobs. Well, a new report from the Conference Board of Canada found that it likely could have the most impact on roles requiring writing and programming skills. For more on the findings, let's bring in Michael Burt, Vice President at the Conference Board of Canada. Michael, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
So what is it that you identified about these two sort of lines of work? I mean, the programming side, as someone who doesn't program, I think automatically, okay, well, yeah, AI could probably do some of that technical side of things. But people looking at, perhaps my type of job when I do a lot of writing, the writing side of things, that maybe AI could be doing some of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, writing is definitely where we see the biggest potential impacts. About 2/3 of the jobs in Canada actually require writing skills at a moderate or higher level. So the most of us actually could be potentially impacted by this. But really what we're seeing right now, at least with the current generations of tools that are out there, is simple things are possible, right? So it could be summarizing what you wrote, or generating ideas for your writing, or helping you to write some simple copy, even doing some basic translations, these sorts of things. So this is where we're seeing the biggest applications. When it comes to more complicated things, not so much. The tools are still prone to what they call hallucination, which is basically making stuff up. So you got to be very careful how you use what they produce, and ultimately this means you need judgment. You can't just take what they give you as gold and run with it. You still need people to actually assess what these tools are creating.
So when you talk about, I mean, potentially 2/3 of the workforce being, involved in writing in some way and being impacted potentially by tools such as ChatGPT, when you're thinking impacted, that doesn't necessarily mean you're out of a job.
That's right. So again, if we use that analogy around how it can be used, very few jobs have a high writing requirement, but only kind of simple writing needs. So what that means is really for most of us, it's an assistant, right? It means you can do things a little more quickly, or you can get some of those activities that require a lot of time but don't actually produce a lot of value off your plate, and you can focus on more important things. And so there's different studies out there kind of looking at productivity impacts. So for example, a pretty prominent study in the US found certain types of roles saw 40% improvement in their productivity around writing, and the quality was about 18% better. But it doesn't mean those people, you're suddenly needing half the number of people, because again, you need that judgment. So really what it's about is changing what you're doing, less of the lower value rote stuff and more of the higher value thinking, judgment, that sort of thing.
Do you see real opportunity for this to increase productivity? And I'm thinking particularly here in Canada, because that is something that we're struggling with.
Yeah, it's where you're likely to see the biggest impact is not so much on certainly on an individual level, right? If all of us spent, I don't know, 10% less time writing emails, through a tool like this, it probably would be a big time saver for many of us. But I think where we're actually quite interested in the broader macroeconomic impacts is when you look more at the programming side. A lot of the roles that are impacted are these STEM roles, these knowledge worker roles, where we have a lot of shortages, and actually where we traditionally talk about things not from an automation risk, but from we just don't have enough people with the right skills. And so if people in these roles are able to make better use of their time, ultimately that means we might see an improvement in tech adoption, an uptick in some of the different factors that are holding us back in terms of that broader productivity performance, and actually see some improvement in that way.
When business owners hear about, these advancements in generative AI and are considering, whether or not to be experimenting and trying to figure out how it might play into their work, is it something that you think they'll have a choice over in the years to come, Michael?
Frankly, no. Studies today suggest that already about 1/3 of the workforce is using these tools in their day-to-day, whether their employers know it or not. And in some cases, even when employers have explicitly prohibited them from doing it, because they're fairly easy to work around if you use a personal device, for example. So what does this mean? It means employers need to figure out how to use them responsibly, there are legitimate concerns around privacy, security, these sorts of things. How do you overcome those risks or mitigate those risks? But ultimately, if you can't figure out as an employer how to use these tools effectively, it's likely your competitors will. And so at some point, you are going to be behind the curve in terms of your competitiveness with other firms out there that you're competing with.